West.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel here. It's Lavender here, and today I'm back with another true crime case. Today I am back with the true crime case called the case of Timothy Blackburn, Nevada's biggest bank robbery. So let's get started into this true crime case story. So here we go. So nearly 20 years after the $1 million bank robbery, the December 1998 heist remains the largest such case in the state's history in Nevada. So let's get started into this. This case has been featured in a number of TV and media. I'm not quite sure what documentaries, but I remember seeing a true crime like video documentary on this case a while ago. I don't know if it was the FBI files or what show it was, but I remember seeing a documentary on this. This is why I'm doing this case, because I've seen a documentary on this case. So yeah. I think it was either on I Almost Got Away With It or the FBI files. I don't know. I'm not sure. Sorry, don't take my word for it. I don't know. So let's get started into the background of this true crime case leading up to the events, and the whole situation, this whole story. So here we go. So 911 was called, and the police received a call about a bank robbery in progress at midnight on December 21st, 1998. The Bank of America's repository at 4215 E Charleston Boulevard. It was learned by police and investigators that two armed masked men in disguises had kidnapped three janitors at a gunpoint and used them to gain access to the repository in the bank so they can get inside the bank. Two security guards then came to open the vault and get the money out. They then were, along with the janitors, were held hostage at gunpoint. The masked man had tried to take the guard's gun, but the gun went off during the process of doing this. The bullets ricocheted off the floor and hit one of the guards, William Schwick, in the chest. He shockingly survived this incident, and the masked man later grabbed a bundle of cash and escaped the crime scene. Tires from the getaway truck screeched as he pulled off, drove out of the parking lot at high speed. Police authorities and crime scene detectives weren't sure of how much money was taken until someone found a receipt under a table at the bank that said over $1 million in straight cold hard cash. That was a lot of money, and it's the biggest, bank robbery that was in Nevada at the time, and I think even still now. Investigators had extremely little evidence and information to go on with this case at first. The guards and janitors couldn't provide specific suspect descriptions because they were all in disguises and ski masks. The surveillance video in the bank didn't show much at all on it in detail, and there were no fingerprints left at the crime scene because they wore gloves and disguises. One investigator that was working the case found a pickup truck parked slightly askew while canvassing a neighborhood nearby. A resident had noted that a different pickup truck was parked there earlier in the day, a white dually pickup truck, which had two wheels on each side of the rear axle of the truck. In an effort to draw attention to this crime case and this bank robbery and find tips, someone working the case persuaded the bank and the armored truck company to offer a $50,000 reward for information leading to an arrest in this bank robbery case. The tips started coming in, but most led nowhere until on December 30th, an anonymous tipster called in on the phone under the code name Foxfire. The woman called Foxfire said, "Well, I got a friend who's got a friend who is a stripper that works at a strip club, and my friend knows, the dancer and the dancer's boyfriend, and the dancer said that her boyfriend has come into some money and has a whole laundry basket and a trailer full of money at his house." She gave a phone number that traced back to a woman called Naomi Skatsosky, a stripper sex worker who lived in a trailer on the east part of the town with her boyfriend at the time. Another agent staking out the trailer spotted a man exit and get into a white dually pickup truck and drive off. The plate belonged to Timothy Blackburn. From there, after the tip on the phone, they found Naomi at her job as a strip club dancer at the Talk of the Town strip club, and her boyfriend Riley Bates inside the trailer. Investigators also found poker chips from the Luxor inside the trailer, which led them to arrest Riley's brother, Robert, at the resort. He spent more than $30,000 in cash at a club in one night, money of which he did not, genuinely have by his own hard work. Like, he never made that much money to be able to be spending that much money. so they knew that he was in on, the bank robbery. He's got this brand new bright yellow blazer and these bright blue contacts he bought and wore, and he has been partying for an entire week straight. They couldn't get anything out of him because he was so drunk at the time. Finding the main suspect in this case, Blackburn, was more difficult, however. When authorities arrived at his house, he fled the scene quickly. He headed for a minivan driven by his sister-in-law, Sheila Lim, who tried hitting police with the vehicle, and they went on a high-speed car chase but ended up crashing it. Police and canine service dogs discovered Blackburn hiding under a porch. Authorities found most of the money the next day from the bank robbery on New Year's Eve in a doghouse in the back of Blackburn's backyard. In early August 1999, Blackburn and his attorney, a federal prosecutor, laid out the case against him. He was talking about, well, how much time am I looking at? I don't want to be in jail for my life or whatever. And he said that the prosecutor said, along with the person that was charging him with the crime, said that he's going to be in there for years, over a decade. Later on August 11, 1999, Blackburn escaped the jail/prison by having his wife, remove the plexiglass dividing the inmate from visitor with an electric screwdriver she had hidden in her hair, had given him a gun and wedged a shoe in the door to facilitate his escape from the jail/prison. He traded gunfire with the corrections officers at the scene as he fled from the jail in a vehicle with his wife in tow. Authorities ran down tips about his whereabouts. They weren't sure whether Blackburn was still in Las Vegas, or if he was in another state, or if he's out of the country, or whatever. Later, Terry Blackburn pulled his SUV into the driveway of his home, tucked away in East Las Vegas cul-de-sac. He declined to be interviewed by the police, saying he wanted privacy and didn't care to make any comments. He also said he's still in the grieving process of losing his only brother. During the hunt for Timothy Blackburn, authorities arrested Sophia Lim's sister Sheila for lying to the FBI about the situation. They also arrested Terry Blackburn after they learned that he had left a driver's license for his brother in their mother's mailbox prior to the jailbreak. As it turned out, Timothy Blackburn had left Las Vegas. The FBI learned that he had called his best friend Dewey Cooper, as he was called, as he escaped the jail. They figured Blackburn would call him again eventually, in which he did. The FBI person in this case quoted, "I want you to tell him that I said that I've arrested your brother Terry, and I've arrested your sister-in-law Sheila, and I'm going to keep arresting people until you turn yourself in." Timothy Blackburn called a week later from Tijuana, Mexico. Cooper delivered the message when the FBI received a tip that Timothy Blackburn's family was staying at a hotel in the area. The detectives investigating this true crime case were really puzzled and really very confused as to why he returned to Las Vegas, as even though he was a really wanted man. They decided to try a ruse in which a security guard knocked on the door at the building regarding a noise complaint from a random person in the building. So Sophia Lim stuck her head out the door. The police were still, to this day, even confused why they even went back to Las Vegas. Timothy Blackburn was still armed, obviously, so a crisis negotiator, Monique, called into the apartment to warn him that the unit was surrounded and that SWAT team was coming and he had no way out of this. Timothy Blackburn got on the phone. For the next 3 hours, the agent talked with Blackburn and on the phone with his wife and their 2 daughters who were in the room with them. Not sure what to say at first, the detective told Timothy Blackburn that he must have had a rough few weeks. No, the fugitive replied. Blackburn replied his family had been having a great time, relaxing. They had taken a trip to SeaWorld and had held a birthday party for the girls, his 2 girls, along with his girlfriend. He did not want to go back to jail and have his daughters visit him in jail. That was the ultimate thing he did not want. But he was going to go to jail for a long time because of the whole, situation. And after that, Timothy Blackburn was determined not to go to prison. And while on the phone, he later hung up, pulled out a gun, and shot his whole family to death, including himself, in a murder-suicide. SWAT officers had heard the gunshots, and they pounded and opened and entered the room. But it was too late. They later tried to save the girls. the two girls, but they were unsuccessful and at this attempt, and they died a short time later at the scene. So if you guys like this video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Bye guys, see you next video.